Happy Friday and welcome to Good News Only. I'm Shauna, and this is the show where we recap the good news only, the feel good headlines, the community, and the local wins that bring us all together and make us feel good. And I want to hear from you too. So if something good is happening in your world, a personal victory, a community success, a birthday, or just something that made you smile, send me an email to news25 at week.com and be sure to put Hey Shauna, that's SHAUNA, in the subject line so I know it's for me. I would love to share your good news right here on the show. Also, don't forget you can follow us on 25 on Facebook at 25 News Good News Only, and you can send me all of those birthdays that you would like to send out over air on the show. You can send me all of your good news there. You can continue to keep up with what we're talking about, the discussions we start here, all of that stuff. You can reach me there directly. So be sure to do that. And let's start today with something good. So I wanted to tell you about something that happened to me yesterday. I took my nieces and my mom to one of my niece's friends' birthday parties yesterday, and it was good because I dropped them off and I didn't have to go into the birthday party. But when I came back, you go in and you see what's kind of going on. Kids had a good time, everything was fine. So I went in and I know the person's whose birthday was. First of all, I want to say happy birthday to Aiden and Addison. It was their birthday, and I got to meet their grandmother for the first time, who apparently had already been familiar with me because she watches the show. I did not know that. So it was so funny because she kept trying to convince me that she watches the show and she knew exactly who I was, and I kept trying to convince her that she must be mistaken. It's like, you must be talking about somebody else. And she said, no, no, I know you. I know your face. You host a show. It's about good news. And I get the little notification on my phone. It's you. I thought that was you. It's you. So thank you to Miss Rhonda. That made me feel good. It was very silly of me to try and convince her that she did not know what she was talking about. And I'm on here every day. But it feels so surreal sometimes. So thank you to her. Happy birthday, Aiden and Addison. And happy birthday tomorrow to little Kaylee. Her birthday is tomorrow. My niece Talent has a lot of friends whose birthdays are in February, and they're all like in the same week and a half span. So happy birthday to the kids. Birthday parties were always fun. Oh, before I go, no, after the break, because it's going to take a minute. After the break, I'll come back and I will teach you the ice cream and cake recipe that taught my nieces at the birthday party. When I got there, they were already having still having ice cream and cake, and so I taught them my special ice cream and cake recipe, and it was met with mixed reviews. But I would like to see what you think about my cake and ice cream recipe. It's age old, been having it since I was a little girl, and I still eat ice cream and cake in this special way. So I want to know what you think when we come back. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about a black-owned business and what they are doing in their community to feed people and encourage and inspire and prepare the next generation in their community. We're going to be talking about some preschoolers who did an interesting thing for charity. Today is all about inspiring the next generation. It's all about the kids. So we'll have all of that good news and more after the break. It will be a nice, light, fun show to end your work week today. Maybe if you're ending the work week, if you are a weekend warrior of some kind, then we're going to have lots of good news to start your work week. But this is going to be a fun show. More good news after the break. Welcome back to Good News Only. So, did you hear about the preschoolers who took the polar plunge? So cute, the little bitty babies and their little bitty feet. So, dozens of preschoolers in Chicago made a big splash for a great cause, taking part in a mini polar plunge inside their Catholic school classroom. The room was transformed into a frosty water oasis complete with kiddie pools filled with ice. One by one, the young students bravely dipped their toes literally into the icy water, showing plenty of courage and lots of smiles. I bet that was very fun for them. The Chili Challenge raised money for Polar Plunge Chicago, benefiting Special Olympics Illinois. So the main Polar Plunge event is set for Sunday morning at North Avenue Beach, where hundreds are located, or expected, I'm sorry, to make or to take the full polar plunge for charity. I think this is so fun. I love teachers who are this creative and free and fun with their students. I'm sure this is a memory those kids will never ever forget. And speaking of good memories, so a Walmart got a sweet surprise or gave a sweet surprise. So it's a simple act of kindness, and it's made a big impact for a New York woman who is battling cancer. So Diane Bennett of Greenfield ordered two cupcake cakes from Walmart to celebrate her final day of chemotherapy and to thank her care team at New York oncology hematology, excuse me. When she arrived to pick up those cakes, she was stunned to learn the $50 bill had already been paid by a bakery employee who wished at that point to remain anonymous. The generous worker later stepped outside to accept the heartfelt hug and thanks from Diane, who called the gesture an amazing blessing. She seemed so shocked. Not just shocked, but surprised, like that anybody would do such a thing. She says that she tries to always give random acts of kindness to other people, to be a giving person, but she rarely receives it. And that I can't say it's true or false in her life. We can only go by what she's saying. But I believe that. Like, I agree with the thought that there are people who are givers, and rarely ever do they get people who just give to them. And sometimes it's hard for them to accept it because they are the givers. So I love to see people who just have giving natures and how they receive it, some of that kindness back. Diane now faces surgery and radiation, but she says kindness has inspired her to pay it forward during her stage 3 cancer journey. I'm sure she was probably surprised, even just because right now what I'm she's living out the bad news she received, that she has cancer. So to get something so kind and selfless from another person at a time where things look dark for her, they probably feel very dark for her. Even no matter the outcome, right, of her journey, just going through the journey, I'm sure is daunting. And so to receive such an act of kindness just unprovoked, I'm sure that really did do a lot. And we've been talking about keeping your heart mentally and physically, your heart healthy, and how random acts of kindness will help to do that. And so, can you just imagine what this did for this lady and her morale, and overall how that's going to affect her health, and as well as the woman who decided to pay this forward and to do this for her? It's a very, very sweet thing for her to do. So after the break, we are going to be talking about that black owned business I was telling you about that is training young people in their community. And I think that's a story you're going to truly enjoy. More Good News Only after the break. Welcome back to more Good News Only. So before the break, I was telling you about a black-owned business that is doing a lot to help the kids in their community serve others. This is a really good story. So this business is it's a black-owned business, and it trains young chefs to and it feeds the community. In Old Town Sacramento, young chefs are sharpening their skills thanks to a powerful community driven program. It's called Universal Cafe, and it's founded by Tanya Mack. It combines workforce development with food recovery and hunger relief. The program focuses on hiring and mentoring young people from marginalized communities, offering culinary training and life skills. So even after a devastating break-in, and Tanya, this woman here, is the owner. She is Tanya Mack, and she was still devastated just talking about this event, and they have recovered or are still recovering from the break-in that caused more than $100,000 in losses. The Sacramento community rallied to help the cafe to rebuild, and you can still hear and see, I mean, the emotions in her voice and on her face as she talks about that. And the thing that seemed to bother her most was when she had to call people that she had on the list that day to feed and tell them that she couldn't come, she couldn't bring them food, she had no food to give because someone had come in and taken it, and that hurt her, and you could really tell that. So you could tell her heart is definitely in the right place, and she's pulling double duty by training the next generation in her community to not only give back but giving them real life skills that will help them in feeding their own families. And so last year alone, the organization delivered over 17,000 meals, and they recovered over 300,000 pounds of surplus food and created 42 jobs. Isn't that something? How what felt like a setback and how it just propelled her forward. She actually was able to create 42 jobs after taking $100,000 in losses. That's absolutely amazing. Now, with a $500,000 grant from First Five Sacramento, the mission to save people one meal at a time is growing even stronger. Congratulations to her. Thank you to her, and great job to all of those that she is mentoring, teaching, and training. And speaking of mentors and teachers, a Pennsylvania police officer is wrapping up her career by wrapping yarn into something meaningful. So, Rebecca Key Gaskins of the Temple University Police Department is teaching Catholic school students in North Philadelphia how to crochet. So, she participates in the Cops in the Classroom program is what it's called, Cops in the Classroom program, which typically focuses on reading, but she decided to pass down a skill learned from her mother. I wish I could be disciplined enough to learn to crochet from my mother, but I don't know why, I just can't. So Key Gaskins says that crochet has been therapeutic for her, and I hear that all the time, that it's so therapeutic for people. And she hopes that this project and what she's doing here inspires students to try something new. As she prepares to retire this year, she looks great. As she prepares to retire this year, she plans to continue teaching and connecting with the young people in the community. It definitely looks like she has a knack for that, and that she really but she looks great. She does not look like she's retirement age. Maybe she's retiring early, but she's beautiful. So great job to her. I know those kids are loving it. I think did our video freeze? I hope it didn't. Anyway, there's more good news after the break. Welcome back to more good news only. So, listen, in Alabama, this is an interesting story. In Alabama, a one of a kind kitten named Dobby is stealing hearts with not two, but 4 ears. The 7-month old black cat, if that's not interesting, I don't know what is. It's like almost like he has two faces or something. Listen, something just felt like it crawled on me. It was my sweater, and it scared. It made me jump out of my skin as I was looking at that cat. I don't know what my problem is with animals, but I am very. I don't know why I'm so scary when it comes to animals. I don't know. Either way, wish me the best. Pray for me. Whatever you have to do for me to heal. Because that was completely unnecessary. The sheer terror that I just felt in my heart when my sweater brushed past my leg while I was looking at this cat. So, the 7-month old cat was born with a rare genetic mutation that also gives him a curled tail and an underbite that requires surgery. So, Stephanie Brown is fostering Dobby and says his sweet personality, especially his love for kids, makes him extra special. And she's hoping that he gets placed with a child because he likes kids so much, which is rare for cats. Applications to adopt him have already closed due to overwhelming interest in him, but he'll undergo surgery before heading to his forever home. The rescue the rescue caring for him is raising about $3,000 for his medical procedure and reminds families that many other cats are still waiting for loving homes. I never knew that could exist where a cat has extra ears. That is so interesting. And that's an interesting looking cat. He's almost kind of cute. His eyes are so yellow and greenish. He's almost kind of cute. But you know how the superstition around like black cats and then it has 2 ears and a curl tail? Oh my goodness. That is, yeah, that's interesting. He's cute, but he definitely has 4 ears, and that's cute about him. But it's just so interesting to look at. Anyway, well, best of luck to him and his endeavors to find a new home. So, there is a Michigan man who is proving that determination can outweigh any obstacle. 31-year-old Jesse Sparksman was diagnosed with cerebral palsy as a baby, but that hasn't stopped him from competing in bodybuilding. So, a documentary crew followed his 15-week journey training for a state championship, capturing his grit and his dedication. The film, titled I Can Bodybuilding, premieres March 14th at select theaters operated by MJR Theaters. The chain's senior manager, who also has cerebral palsy, says Sparksman's story is a powerful reminder of perseverance and of possibility. So, congratulations to him. I mean, he is doing a wonderful job in just his movement alone. I love when people decide to go outside of what their limits may or may not be. To do extraordinary things. It just proves that we all have possibility and promise. Look, before we go, I need to tell you about the recipe that I promised to tell you about, my ice cream and cake recipe. So, I'll, I'll tell you after the break. The buzzer just sounded. More good news after the break. Welcome back to more Good News Only. So real quick, the cake and ice cream recipe. So you take a piece of birthday cake, right? And then you take ice cream, whatever flavor you prefer. I prefer for this recipe to I personally prefer to use vanilla, which is why I think it was met with mixed reviews because one of my nieces last night had when she tried it she had chocolate. Either way, you take your piece of cake and you take your ice cream and you mix it together, sort of like you do with your Girl Scout cookies and your ice cream, but it's gonna be softer, not gritty, but grainy because it's little grains of soft, spongy cake. But anyway, you mix it until it is soft serve consistency. You know, you can dollop it with your spoon, and then you lay down on your left side because that's best for digestion, and you eat it slow. That's the ice cream and cake recipe that I have had for ages. Either way, that's a wrap for me today. Now I want to hear from you. Please go to news25 at WEK.com and let me know what you thought about today's show. Be sure to put Hey Shauna in the subject line. That's SHAUNA so I know it's for me. In the meantime, be sure to check out the midday newscast and meet me back here today at 1 p.m. I'm LaShauna Guy for 25 News. Have a wonderful day.